Today we are going to watch part 2 of the animated movie based on Zoey and Sassafras series, chapters 6 to 14 from book 4, Caterflies and Ice, written by Asia Citro and illustrated by Marian Lindsay. If you missed our video for part 1, you can find the link in the description section. Please subscribe to Toybox Elementary to watch our educational videos. Let's begin. Just inside the entrance, I spotted a pile of caterflies huddled together like a tiny mountain of white snow with little pink dots. When the caterflies saw me, they cheered. But when they saw Sassafras, they all launched into the air and landed on him. "Ooh," they said at once. They snuggled down into his fur and began to purr. I splashed some hot water on the wall of ice that trapped the caterfly eggs. It started to crack, but it was not enough. I took off my glove and rubbed a ton of salt over the ice. "Caterflies, I'm sorry, but we've really got to go. My dad will be worried if I'm home late. I think the ice should melt now with the salt on it. I'll be back tomorrow morning to check on you." I got home just in time before my dad began to worry. I could hardly wait to tell my mom about the caterflies. The next morning, a spring snowstorm ruined my plans of checking on the caterflies. It was not safe to go in the forest in this weather. So, my mom and I decided to work on Sassafras' snowshoes instead. When we were finally done, I put the tiny snowshoes on Sassafras. He held his head high and fluffed up his tail and took fancy steps around the kitchen. "Meow!" which meant, "Thank you, I love you," in cat language. Later in the afternoon, my mom helped me to do an experiment to understand what happens when plants are exposed to too much salt. I used 2 bowls. I put a slice of potato and 2 cups of water in each bowl. I poured lots of salt into one of the bowls. After 30 minutes, the potato slice was rubbery and gross. "Oh no, Mom! I made a mistake with the caterflies. I dumped a lot of salt on the ice to make it melt faster. But now the catnip plant in front of the cave will turn rubbery. So the baby caterflies will starve when they hatch." "Oh, honey, we all make mistakes. Whatever's happened, we will figure out tomorrow." The next morning, Mom, Sassafras, and me headed to the cave to check on the butterflies. All the plants around the cave entrance had wilted. The leaves were brown, and only a few plants were still green. One of the caterflies that came to our barn landed on my wrist. "Your tricks worked and the ice cracked. We rescued our eggs." "But what is wrong with our plants?" I sighed. "I made a mistake and the salt hurt your plants." I popped on my thinking glasses. "We need more plants." More plants. Soon I had an idea. I could plant leaves and stems from the catnip in our greenhouse. I raised the caterfly up to my face. "How would you feel about moving to our greenhouse for a few weeks?" "Yes, that would be perfect. We'll have a warm place just for us and cozy Sassafras." I collected the stems and leaves and we headed back to the house, caterflies and all. I planted the catnip clippings. Soon everyone was installed in the greenhouse. Sassafras were snoring lightly and a dozen of caterflies were purring happily in Sassafras' soft and cozy fur. In the following weeks, we spent as much time outside playing with the caterflies and waiting for their eggs to hatch. The catnips were now all grown, so the baby caterflies would have plenty of leaves to eat once they hatched. We replanted the catnip plants in front of the cave in the forest. I looked at Sassafras. He was sitting completely still in front of your new catnip plant. As I got closer to investigate, I saw that he was cross-eyed, staring at his nose. I burst out laughing. Smack in the middle of Sassafras' nose was a tiny purring caterpillar. "They hatched!" I exclaimed to my mom. I quickly grabbed my camera. This would be the perfect photo for my magical creatures journal. Don't you think? That was the end of our story, boys and girls. Please subscribe to our channel and give us a thumbs up if you liked our story today. Bye!